Hello students, I am VLN Swarupini, lecturer in biochemistry from Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Sciences, which is affiliated to Adhika Vinamaya University, Rajahmundry. Now, I would like to discuss about third BSc 6th semester biochemistry elective paper, that is basic microbiology. From this paper, we are seeing topics from Unit 4, and in Unit 4, let's discuss about the reproduction in algae. సో ఆల్గేలో రిప్రొడక్షన్ ఎలా జరుగుతుందో చూద్దాం. బేసికల్లీ algae reproduction is carried through vegetative, asexual and sexual methods. Okay, so here all the three methods: vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction is commonly seen in algae group. So what are the methods in these methods of reproduction? Let's see. So firstly, let's see about vegetative reproduction. So this vegetative reproduction is a mode of reproduction in which there is no involvement of gametes. Okay, so it is a common method in algae. Algae చాలా కామన్గా జరిగే మెథడ్ అనమాట. సో we have cell division or cell fusion, fragmentation, hormogonia and adventitious branches. So by these methods, here reproduction is commonly carried in algal cells. Okay, so here cell division or binary fusion is nothing but a cell is divided into two parts. Okay, it is a vegetative propagation method. Okay, it is a vegetative propagation method. So one of the simplest method that we commonly see in algae is fission or cell division. It is a simple method of propagation, and this particular cell division is commonly seen in unicellular algae. So if a cell is unicellular, it can be divided into two equal halves, that is called cell division. Okay, so in this manner this particular cell division will be carried, and most commonly unicellular algae lo manaki ఇది కనిపిస్తుంది. బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ Chlamydomonas, diatoms, desmids. Okay, so here the unicellular algae cell divides mitotically into two daughter cells and eventually grow into an independent organism. So if this is a Chlamydomonas, it will be divided into two daughter cells, and each daughter cell again develops or grow into an independent organism. And the next one is fragmentation. So here fragmentation is also one of the important vegetative reproduction. So here filamentous algae, so algae which are in the form of filaments like Spirogyra oregonium, they often break into small fragments, and the small fragment which is separated from the algae, it will develop into a new individual organism. So here if you see examples, Elothrix, Spirogyra and oregonium. So these are the best examples for fragmentation. So what happens in this fragmentation? Filamentous algae, and in filamentous algae the thallus will be broken accidentally, and that fragment will grow into a new individual. Okay, and each fragment by repeated cell division will grow into a new filament, and Here, the fragmentation may be due to mechanical pressure, dissolution of transverse walls, or due to death of intercalary cells. So, the fragmentation process might be done by few methods like mechanical pressure. So it is like a accidental method, and dissolution of transverse cells walls, or due to death of intercalary cells. These may lead to the fragmentation process in algae. And the next method is harmogonia. So in this method, mostly filamentous blue-green algae undergo this kind of vegetative reproduction. Okay. Okay. So here, this mode of reproduction is occur through hormones. Okay. What happens means, when any algae, that is blue-green algae, undergoes unfavorable conditions, the trichome will be break, and it will it will be formed into a motile segment of different lengths, and we call it as harmogonia. So during favorable conditions, this particular harmogonia will be developed. So here the formation of harmogonia is facilitated by the formation of separation discs, or due to death of the intercalary cells of the filament. So harmogonia will develop when there is a formation of separation discs, or due to death and decay of intercalary cells of the filament. Then this harmogonia will be produced due to unfavorable conditions, and it can be grown into new individual cell. And best example is Nostac, Oscillatoria, and Cylindrosporum. Okay. And next one is an adventitious branches, by adventitious branches. So in some large thyroid forms of algae, adventitious branches will be developed, and these branches, when get detached from the parent thallus, develop into new plants. Okay. So whatever the thyroid forms are present in algae, sometimes adventitious branches will be developed, and these branches, when they are separated from the parent thallus, will be developed into new plant. Best example, Dictyota and Fucus. Okay. And the next method is asexual reproduction. So here there will be involvement of regeneration of protoplast to produce new plants. Okay. So here, mostly in lower plants, this vegetative reproduction will be seen, and this asexual mode of reproduction involves division of the protoplastin cell and escaping of the daughter protoplast from the parent cell to produce new plants. So here the daughter protoplasts, they undergo formation of spores, and these spores are responsible for the asexual reproduction in fewer algal groups. Okay. So let's see what are the spores developed by these algae group. So first important spores is zoospores. Okay. So these zoospores, these are motile naked structures with 2 or 4 or many flagella. So commonly 2 flagella are seen in Chlamydomonas and Ectocarpus, and 4 flagellae are seen in Elytrix, and many flagella are seen in Ergonium and Vachyria. Okay. So here this zoospore is a motile naked structure with flagella, and flagella number vary from 2 to many in depending upon the individual algae. So here usually 2 to 32 zoospores are produced in a single sporangium. So single sporangium may lead to development of 2 to 32 zoospores, and these zoospores contain flagella, and here flagella in the zoospores of Phaeophyceae are unequal and laterally inserted as in Ectocarpus. So arrangement of flagella is also different from one group to other. And here zoospores are found in plurilocular sporangia of Ectocarpus are diploid. So whatever the zoospores produced in plurilocular Ectocarpus group, Ectocarpus species, then the zoospore produced will be diploid. Whereas in unilocular sporangia, if these zoospores were developed, these will be in haploid condition. Okay, N and 2N conditions these are. So here zoospores are generally formed under extremely favorable conditions, and these on germination, each zoospore gives rise to a new plant. Okay. So if you want to see the diagram of this zoospore, Eulethrox zoospore is present here. So this is the zoospore of Eulethrox, and it contains 4 flagellae if you observe the diagram. Okay. So next type of spores is aplanospores. Aplanospores. Okay, and these aplanospores are non-motile spores and commonly found in terrestrial algae. So here only the aquatic groups will contain flagella, and these non-motile spores are commonly seen in terrestrial algae. But some aquatic algae also produce aplanospores during drought conditions. So of course they are aquatic algae, but during drought conditions they also survive in the terrestrial conditions. So at that time these aquatic algae also produce aplanospores. Okay, and here best examples are Eulethrox and Vacheria and Chlamydomonas, etc. And they different from zoospores in having a wall and being non-motile. So here what is the difference between this zoospores and aplanospores? Zoospores are motile spores, whereas aplanospores are non-motile spores. And if you see the diagram here, zoospore, it doesn't contain any it contains a proper cell wall. Okay. So if you see this zoospore, it doesn't contain any proper cell wall, only the cell membrane is present. And if you see the aplanospore, it contains a thick wall, cell wall, and here few aplanospores, they contain thick walls, and these kind of aplanospores are also called as hypnospores. Okay, so this is about aplanospores, and if you see the diagram here, this is the aplanospore. Okay, so next move to the echinids. Echinids are also kind of spores, and in some algae vegetative cells develop into a thick walled spore, and these thick walled spores like structures, they store abundant food reserves. Okay, so these echinids are nothing but the vegetative cells with a thick walled thick walled, and these contain abundant food reserves. And here in any algae, a vegetative cell develops into a thick walled spore like structure with abundant food reserve. We call it as echinate. So these echinates, if you compare with aplanospores, these, if you distinguish between this, these echinates have additional wall layers and around their protoplast. Okay, these contain additional layers around the protoplast, and their formation is accompanied by the gelatinization of the parent wall, which leads to their release. So gelatinization process of the parent wall will be carried, due to which these echinates will be released, and they are resistant to unfavorable conditions, and during favorable conditions they'll be germinate into new plant, and these echinates may also produce zoospores. Okay, so they are found in many green algae and blue green algae. Example: Cladophora, Eleutheryx, and Anabina. Okay, and the next type of spores are tetraspores. So these tetraspores are diploid plants, like plants of some red algae like Polysiphonia, form these thin-walled non-motile haploid spores after meiosis in the diploid sporangium called tetrasporangium. So that's why these are called as tetraspores. So here, whatever the diploid sporangium is present, in its tetrasporangium, a thin-walled non-motile haploid spores will be produced after the meiosis process. So these spores are formed in tetrads, hence called as tetraspores, and they germinate to form haploid plants. So if you see the diagrams, so here these are the tetraspores. These are the tetraspores. Okay. So the next one, oxospores. So these oxospores are formed in mostly diatoms, and their formation is induced by changes in temperature, light, and nutritional factors. So if there is change in temperature, light, or nutritional factors, then these diatoms will produce these oxospores. Okay, so these oxospores are not actually spores but rejuvenescent cells. That means they can rejuvenate during favorable conditions. Okay, and that usually accompany sexual reproduction. So they, during favorable conditions, these will be rejuvenated through sexual reproduction. Okay, and in some cases the oxospores are produced apogamously, that is without sexual reproduction. So it has chance for sexual reproduction, and sometimes it doesn't undergo this sexual reproduction. Okay, in Pinularia, when the cell reaches a maximum size due to repeated cell division, the protoplast produces a large amount of mucilage, and this separates the two thecae and the protoplast is liberated, and the later grows in size typical from the species and get transformed into a oxospore. So in Pinularia, what happens? The cell will reach maximum size by multiple cell divisions, and the protoplast will be an large size, and also it will release large amount of mucilage, and this leads to release of this protoplast, and later what happens, this protoplast will grow in size and it will be get transferred to a oxospore. Okay, an oxospore is larger than the vegetative cell which takes part in its formation. So oxospore will be larger in size when compared to vegetative cell, and it is surrounded by two-piece wall called perizonium. Okay, so oxospore will be like this. So this is the oxospore. Okay, so next we have done with the sexual reproduction mode, in which spores will be produced like zoospores, echinospores, echines, tetraspores and oxospores. Okay, next mode of reproduction is sexual reproduction. Okay, here sexual reproduction occurs in all groups of algae except blue green algae. Okay, except in blue green algae. In remaining all algae groups, this sexual reproduction will be carried. Okay, except in blue green algae, remaining all algal groups undergoes this mode of reproduction. And here, in contrast to vegetative and asexual methods, sexual reproduction leads to recombination of genes. So here recombination of genes is commonly seen, and this is essential for maintaining vigorous and vitality of the species, and recombination gives rise to variations. So obviously when gene recombinations are carried, there will be lot of changes in that organism. Okay, so this will help the organism to adapt themselves perfectly according to the changes in the environment. So these changes will help that organism to withstand the environmental changes. Okay, so here in sexual reproduction, it occurs at the end of the growing season, and the structures which produce the sex organs or gametes is called as gametangium. So in algae cell will produce these gametes. So the organ or the structure which will produce these gametes are called as gametangium. Okay, and in unicellular motile organisms, gametes may be produced from the cell, or the vegetative cells may directly form a function as gamete. So this algae groups, unicellular motile organisms, they may produce the gamete from the cell, or the cell itself will act as gamete. So if the gamete from the same individual fuse together, the plant is called homothallic. If the fusing gametes come from different thalli, such plants are called as heterothallic organisms. So here the gametes are set free by the disintegration or breakage of the gametangial walls. So obviously by breakdown of the gametangial walls only these gametes will be released. So liberation of gametes takes place either in the morning or towards the evening. So whenever the temperatures are low, these gametes will be released. So in the early mornings and in the evenings, these gametes will be released. So these gametes are haploid and commonly uninucleate, and they are naked except in some Chlamydomonaceae group, where the gametes have thin walls and termed as Cryptogametes. Okay, so now let's see about few of the sexual reproduction modes. So isogamy, physiological anisogamy, oogamy are most commonly seen in algae. So here isogamy is the simplest type of reproduction mode, and here algal groups except Rhodophyceae undergo this isogamy. So here fusion of gametes which are similar in size, shape and structure will be carried. So iso means similar gametes, so fusion is carried between similar gametes, so that's why we call it as isogamy. And these isogametes may be flagellated and motile or non-flagellated. Okay, so these isogamy occurs in almost all groups except in Rhodophyceae group. And next one is physiological anisogamy. Physiological anisogamy. In this case, the gametes are morphologically similar, but in function, one of the gamete is more motile and behaves as male. So here, except one condition remaining, shape, size, structure, and everything will be same, but behavior wise one particular gamete will function as male and it shows more motility during this process. Best examples Spirogyra, Zygnema, Ectocarpus. Okay, next one is anisogamy. Anisogamy. So the fusing gametes are similar in structure but differ in size. So structure will be same but size is different. Smaller gamete will be like act as a male gamete and the larger gamete will act as a female gamete. So here the male gamete is more active while the female gamete is sluggish. That means it is less active when compared to the male gamete. And here this reserve food material is also present in female gamete. Okay, so here the fusion may be lateral or by their anterior ends, and best example are Chlamydomonas bruni, ulva, enteromorpha. Okay, and next one is oogamy. Oogamy. So here this oogamy is a most advanced sexual reproduction mode. So here the gametes are large, always non-motile and is filled with abundant food materials. So these gametes are called as egg, ovum or oosphere. So these function as the female gamete and male gamete is small, flagellate, it contains flagella and motile. So the egg is produced within the oogonium and the sperm within the antheridium of the different algal cells. So examples for oogamy is Volvax, Oregonium, Cara, Ochidia and Polysiphonia. So these are the examples for oogamy. So this is enough for you guys. So these are the different modes of reproduction that we commonly see in algae. Okay. So in the next class we'll see about the economical importance of algae, with which we'll come to an end of for this unit 4. Okay. See you in the next class. Thank you, students.